William Shakespeare was born a long time ago, in 1564, in a town called Stratford-upon-Avon in England. He grew up in a busy town where many people worked as farmers, traders, and craftsmen. It was a time when the world was changing. The Renaissance was happening, which meant people were thinking about art, science, and new ideas. Shakespeare's family was not rich, but they were well known in the town. His father, John Shakespeare, was a glovemaker, and his mother, Mary Arden, came from a good family. William went to school, where he learned Latin, reading, and writing. He loved to read stories and poems, and he became very good at writing. It was clear early on that he had a special talent for words. When he was 18, William married a woman named Anne Hathaway. They had 3 children together, a daughter, Susanna, and twins named Hamnet and Judith. We don't know much about his early life after he married, but it is believed that he moved to London to work as an actor and writer. London was the largest city in England at that time, and it had many theatres where people came to watch plays. It was a lively place with many opportunities for people like Shakespeare. Shakespeare first became known in London as an actor. He worked with a group of actors called the Lord Chamberlain's Men. This was a very popular theatre company, and they performed plays in the Globe Theatre. Shakespeare's role in this group was important. Not only did he act in the plays, but he also wrote many of them. His first plays were written around 1590. These early plays were mostly comedies and histories. They were very popular with the people who came to the theatre. People loved the funny stories, the exciting adventures, and the way Shakespeare wrote about real human emotions. One of Shakespeare's first big successes was a play called Henry VI. It told the story of England's history and was full of exciting battles, kings, and heroes. After that, Shakespeare wrote many other plays. Some of his best-known plays include Romeo and Juliet, Hamlet, Macbeth, and A Midsummer Night's Dream. These plays are still performed today all over the world. Shakespeare's plays were very different from what people had seen before. His stories were about love, hate, power, and friendship. He created characters that people could relate to, and his language was beautiful. For example, in Romeo and Juliet, the young lovers talk about their feelings in a very poetic way. Shakespeare also wrote many famous lines that people still use today. For example, in Hamlet, one of the characters says, "To be or not to be, that is the question." This line has become one of the most famous quotes in English literature. Shakespeare also wrote many plays that made people laugh. A Midsummer Night's Dream is a comedy about magic and love, and Twelfth Night is another funny play about mistaken identities and love. These plays show Shakespeare's ability to write both serious stories and fun, silly ones. In addition to writing plays, Shakespeare also wrote many poems. He wrote 154 sonnets, which are short poems with a special structure. These poems are about love, beauty, time, and nature. Some of Shakespeare's sonnets are famous for their deep meaning and beautiful language. For example, in Sonnet 18, Shakespeare writes, "Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temperate." This line is still one of the most famous lines in poetry. During Shakespeare's time, the theatre was very important. People went to the theatre to see stories about kings, queens, and common people. There were no special effects like today, so everything had to be done with words and actors' performances. The Globe Theatre, where Shakespeare's plays were performed, was very big and it could hold thousands of people. People who could not afford to sit in the seats stood in front of the stage, and they were called groundlings. They would watch the play very closely, and sometimes shout things at the actors. The theatre was a lively place, and it was very popular in London. Shakespeare was very successful, and he became rich from his work. He wrote many plays, and many of them were performed for the royal family. Queen Elizabeth I and later King James I both liked his plays. This helped Shakespeare's career because the support of the royal family made his plays even more popular. Shakespeare's writing was not only for the rich and educated. His plays were for everyone. The people who stood in front of the stage at the Globe Theatre were just as important as the people sitting in the seats. Shakespeare understood that all people, whether they were rich or poor, could enjoy good stories. He wrote plays that had something for everyone. There were fights, jokes, love stories, and mysteries. There were also deeper themes about life and death. Shakespeare's ability to write for all kinds of people made him very famous. In 1613, Shakespeare retired from the theatre and went back to Stratford-upon-Avon. It is not clear why he retired, but it is believed that he wanted to spend more time with his family and enjoy the money he had made from his plays. He had also bought a large house in Stratford called New Place, where he lived for the rest of his life. He continued to be known as a great writer, even after he stopped writing plays. William Shakespeare died in 1616 at the age of 52. He left behind a huge legacy. His plays and poems are still read and performed all over the world today. People from many different countries and cultures love his work because it speaks to universal human experiences. His writing has influenced many writers and poets, and his plays are still performed in theaters. In fact, Shakespeare's works are some of the most performed plays in the world. Shakespeare's life was a remarkable one. He started as a young boy in a small town, and through his talent and hard work, he became one of the most famous writers in history. Even though he lived hundreds of years ago, his words still live on. Shakespeare's ability to capture the human experience in his writing has made him an important part of world literature. His plays about love, power, friendship, and tragedy are timeless. Today, we still read his works and enjoy watching them on stage, just like people did in Shakespeare's time. So, even though William Shakespeare lived a long time ago, his legacy continues to influence and inspire people all over the world. His works are a gift to everyone who enjoys reading, acting, and thinking about life. Shakespeare's words are still powerful today, and they will continue to be for many years to come.